Hello. So, welcome to our Exhale TV episode. I'm going to say 6. I think it's 6, either 6 or 7. Just going to give it a few minutes before I introduce my beautiful guest. Mainly because I haven't had chance. I've been that busy this week. I haven't had chance to let anyone know that we were going to go live. Even though going live on my Instagram TV is like my favorite thing to do. Hi, Laura. So Laura is under the pseudonym today of Exhale Chorley in South Ribble. I know that it's Laura. Anybody else that jumps on, please do let us know who it is. Please do give us love hearts, emojis. Please tag anyone that you think this might be relevant to. We're talking about a beautiful topic today. I have the beautiful Jessica with me as well. This is her forte. This is what she has spent a lot of her time recently training for. So it's a perfect opportunity for you to explore this topic. We are going live on the Facebook page in our Facebook group. We're also going live on YouTube. So it's been a funny all week. I wanted to first of all just congratulate the ladies that have took the opportunity this week and the last part of last week to join our team. So we've welcomed in lots of new ladies that are taking us to parts of the country that we've never exhaled in before. So I'm really, really excited about that. I've just facilitated. I had a call this morning with somebody that was interested in training, and then I did a live exhale session as well. I've quickly swallowed down my lunch. I actually did it standing up. I had my lunch stood up, and it reminded me of when I used to be cabin crew, and we used to always be in the galley, like just trying to get food down because we were so rushed the whole time. But you can tell I'm just so excited about the opportunity that these ladies have got coming into our team, but also I'm really excited about the fact that the way the world is right now, we need more people in the world sharing the power of meditation, sharing the power of calm, sharing the power of peace. And that's what this is all about, really. Yes, I want to welcome people into my training academy, so to speak, but I also want to get people out into the world sharing these really important messages. And part of the way that we are doing that today is by giving you a little insight into how meditation can help in areas that you might not have considered that it might be helpful in. For example, such as when you are aiming or planning to get pregnant. So before we launch into that, I just want to give Jessica an opportunity to introduce herself. So I'd love, Jess, if you could tell everybody a little bit about who you are, but also if you could talk to us about why you chose to join us in the Exhale team, because it's fabulous to have you here. So share away. Who's
oh my gosh, I feel like there's so much I could say. So a bit about me. I'm currently I've just become a freedom fertility formula specialist, and I'm working on obviously my exhale instructing as well. So I'm really looking forward to becoming a fully fledged exhale teacher. But essentially, I've got a bit of a background where I did struggle to conceive. I think I suffered a lot of gynecological issues, and so my journey was more about the emotional well-being, I think, before I actually even thought about having a baby and what that did to my fertility. So from the age of 25, I was suffering with ovarian cysts, and I remember a doctor telling me, we're going to have to put you on metformin to help you to ovulate and then to be able to conceive. So that automatically kind of put the messages in my head that I was infertile. So, I mean, even back further than that, I was working in quite a demanding role. From day dot, I wanted to be a lawyer. So I've worked in lots of different law firms and doing legal work in various different companies internationally and in London as well. So I've always lived quite a fast-paced life, really. And there's been lots of ups and downs, and with the fertility, I've learned a lot since becoming a freedom fertility formula specialist, but also it's about all of the other things that weave into our lives. So typically, you know, you might have the fertility journey, but you've got all of the various different things that are going on in your head as well. And I've had lots of those going on. Sort of before I found Exhale, I'd managed to get pregnant with twins, but I lost one of the twins. So my son Harry is the surviving twin. I left my career, just completely left. So I had my secure job, my secure income, and I left it to pursue a business that I was doing at the time, but I partnered with the wrong people. So in the space of like 9 months, I left my job, fell pregnant, lost a twin, started a business, partnered with the wrong people, lost a business, or walked away from it, essentially losing it, and then found myself really, really lost. And I never at one point stopped to deal with those emotions, not once. On my due date, when Harry was due, I was literally stood in the kitchen ready to burst, baking granola for a really large order that we had. I literally just didn't stop. And so when I found Exhale, I was at the yoga show in 2019, and I was a mess. I didn't know who I was. I was trying to be a mum. I was trying to recover from the fact that I've always worked, but suddenly wasn't working. I didn't really know what to do with myself. And I remember going into that space to do the Exhale session, having never heard of Exhale before and never doing an Exhale session. And suddenly I just felt the most tranquility and peace and calm that I had felt for a really, really, really long time. And it sort of embedded lots of things that I started to realize. I started to realize that, you know, I kind of think we're born free. We're born with that inner self and that soul, but we are dragged away from it through lots of the different responsibilities that are chucked at us and that we're just not really taught how to manage. We sort of have to navigate our way through them. And with Exhale, I kind of felt that Exhale acknowledges that, and it doesn't even acknowledge it on a part where you need to understand meditation or know what you're doing. You can literally just go and sit on the mat, and you can flow with the class, make yourself as comfortable as you like, and just get that inner peace and actually start to communicate with yourself again. And it blew me away. So I remember when I left the yoga show, and I was like, I want to be a meditation instructor and I need to find who Exhale is. So I went online, and I remember calling you, I think the next day, and we had a chat. And I was just like, I know I need to sign up. So that was kind of it, wasn't it, really? And yeah, so it's kind of all molded together, really. So in terms of fertility, it works really well, because a big part of fertility is that you go through that emotional journey of everything in your life stops. You just want a baby. That's it. And you go through a lot of emotional turmoil when you go through months and months and months and months of finding out that you're not pregnant. But aside from that, Exhale on its own is obviously for the everyday person, isn't it? Because none of us are taught how to deal with our emotions, and everyone has a backstory or some sort of history. So it's really good, and I'm really excited to teach it.
I'm excited. No, it's a moment just to say, oh my word, A, how amazing are you? B, like this. What you've just said to me there, oh my word, this is why I do it. So like literally, like Chloe's saying, where is it? Chloe's saying, it's giving her goosebumps. You know, like there's loads of comments here. And honestly, I am getting the goosebumps. And I don't know if you know this about me yet, Jess, but essentially when I get the goosebumps, it's like such a good sign. It's like energy in motion. It's like synchronicity in motion. So I'm just so proud of you as well for just showing up here the way that you've just shown up there and sharing your story that is actually quite, it's intense, it's heartbreaking what you've been through. And I think this is just testament to your strength as a person, that you're able to sit here and talk about this that openly, but also that you've been able to use your experiences to create a really beautiful business which is going to help so many other women that are going to go through similar struggles to yourself, but also to bring in this strain of Exhale with you as well, the way that it's really same as me. Exhale, absolutely. The techniques that we teach in Exhale are based on the techniques that I use to help me find myself again. So to listen to you talk and say you didn't know who you were lost, and you were, you know, like, I don't know what the word is, but you know, that sort of, that undercurrent of sadness. I absolutely have been there and had that and felt that disconnect between the way that I was showing up in the world. Things were all happening to me in the world, and I was just,
you can't explain it either, can you? I think it was, when I look back at it, and you know, we talk about mental health and mental well-being, it's become such a prominent subject now. But when I think about it, I think that was my first. Mental well-being is something I see as day to day. You know, we all get stressed, we all feel anxious about things, and it's managing that day to day. But mental health is really that kind of that clinically diagnosable depression, anxiety, and various different mental health difficulties there are now. But when I look back, I couldn't really explain it, and I think it really was my first real battle with mental health, and it was silent. I didn't tell anyone.
No, me neither.
I could go into the bathroom and cry my eyes out, and I would come out, and people would be like, "Jess, are you okay?" And I could put on an Oscar award-winning performance about how I was absolutely fine, and I would act in front of everyone else like I'm fine. And that's a kind of part of my personality that really annoys me, actually, because I have the ability to hide things so well. But actually, there's a lot going on underneath.
And I think there's a lot of women that are like that we stay strong and we keep pushing and we keep going. And people, it's not that people aren't asking, it's that if we're okay and offering help, it's actually that we're unable to receive that help. There's something in the taking the help, the taking the support, that makes us feel potentially that actually that we're not good enough. You know, it's feeding into that undercurrent. I think we come to the earth absolutely communicating, and I said this on so many lives recently, it sounds like I like should write these down as little quotes, but we come to this earth like absolutely shouting from the rooftop for what we need. Like, you know, we scream as babies, and we also absolutely 100% trust that support and that love and that care is going to be given to us. Like, we don't doubt it, so we continue to shout for our needs right up until we start to go to school, really. And then something happens and we start to become disconnected from our very human, very real, very, I don't know what else to say on that really, but the needs that we have as human beings that are absolutely valid, we start to disconnect from that. And especially when you become a partner, or when you get engrossed in your job, or when you become a mom, like you take on this role that doesn't necessarily allow you to take the time to ask for help. So I think it's really important, that's something I should say, that people do 100% ask for help, but also that what I love about Exhale is that we can empower you also to get back in touch with who you are, what you need, what you value, what you love, and also to give you those tools that you can use to just self-soothe a little bit whilst you're waiting for that support that you need.
100%. I think you can go and sit in an Exhale class, and you can go in there feeling lost and confused and not really knowing who you are, and you can feel like you don't know how to articulate that, and like you don't really want to talk about it, but that you can feel safe in that space that's yours. That mat is yours, and you know, you can hear the teacher and you can hear the music, but you can just be in that little bubble that's your own, and you can start to have your own journey. And then I think it just gives you that clarity and that confidence and that courage, so that when you start to get in touch with yourself again, it is kind of like, oh my gosh, this is who I am, and it's okay to feel like this. And then that kind of gives you that extra boost to think, oh, look, I'm going to start talking about it because it's okay. Because we're kind of conditioned to just struggle through it. I've got such a bee in my bonnet about school and that they don't teach you this stuff, because, you know, I spent so much time learning algebra that I'm never going to use, like never understood in the first place, and that I've never used. I'm playing with
this is Emma's comment. She literally said that just before. It's like, if this was part of school and growing up, you know, like if only we knew.
it's something we need. We at some point in life, the probably quite guaranteed things we're going to go through are going to be some sort of loss or bereavement. We're all going to go through stress of moving house, of finding a job, of just the little day-to-day stresses of whatever. But no one teaches you how to manage firstly what your emotions are, and secondly how to manage them. And I just don't understand why we're not taught that.
I know, and I think again, it's like you touched on it there a little bit as well. It's the conditioning that we have as well, isn't it? So even day in day out, I'm sort of watching my language. So I might say to Joey, "Don't cry," or "Don't be. Why are you so angry? You don't need to be that angry." And it's almost like denying his emotions. Far from, I should be validating them, should be giving him space to explore how he feels, but we always want to placate people as well, don't we? So we're like, it feels uncomfortable, so we want to like move on from that, or we want children to kind of fit into this little box. And that's, even I do that, and I teach this stuff, so that just shows you like how conditioned we are, as you say, and that's how we move through life. So of course we're going to respond in that way, where we're going to hide our own emotions or disown our own emotions or push them down. And I think it's years and years of pushing those emotions down and not actually sitting with yourself, not feeling with yourself, creates that disconnect. So then you just lose the total sense of all of who you are, because if I'm not owning how I feel, it's like a slow disowning of my soul, a slow disowning of my entire being, I guess. So the girls are like this. I'm gonna have to change the title of this thing, because actually when I put this back out on the replay, you might see a different title, because actually we are going to get on to talk about fertility, but this is such a good conversation, and actually we weren't prepped to talk about this.
No, just kind of flowed it. But the thing is, though, it does touch on fertility, because the thing about fertility and the thing about the Freedom Fertility Formula is, it's not about the struggle of fertility in that I can't get pregnant. It's actually the emotional journey you go to. If you've been trying to conceive and you go to a doctor and you explain that to them, they'll probably say something like, "Oh, well, let's try this medication. Let's refer you to this clinic. Let's talk about IVF and all of your different options." But what none of them talk about is emotional well-being. And actually, it could be that emotional well-being that's actually that blocker. That's actually, you might, there's so much unexplained infertility, but actually it's not necessarily that you're infertile. It might be because the thoughts that are developing about not being able to get pregnant are putting your mind into that state of danger. And it's all about the subconscious and the conscious mind, isn't it? And what I've learned through both the Freedom Fertility Formula and Exhale is that we basically spend most of our lives living through our subconscious mind. So it's all of those thoughts. So if you imagine when you get a negative pregnancy test, your subconscious mind is going, "Why can't I get pregnant? I've been doing X, Y, and Z. Oh my gosh, I'm infertile." But consciously, that's just a negative pregnancy test. That doesn't mean that you're not going to get pregnant next time you try. And that's the thing. And because those messages are being sent through your body that's saying, effectively, when you're worrying about it, it's dangerous to become pregnant, and therefore it's working against you. So by using the Freedom Fertility Formula with Exhale, it's kind of, it's that structured approach to helping with the emotional well-being through your fertility journey. But Exhale is adding that something extra, where it's actually about your emotions generally, and that's going to help you to structure your way through your journey, but also through yourself. Because even I've been through a fertility journey, through a miscarriage, and through being a mum, and I can tell you that all of them bring about their own different struggles in a way. So it just fits so well together. So really, it's amazing. No one really talks about fertility, and they certainly don't talk about struggling to conceive. But what we don't talk about as well is really, aside from all of the medical things that you can do, is actually, if we can get on top of our emotions and learn to control our emotions, we can probably enhance our fertility as well.
Yeah, and also, and like obviously it's so relevant to you and your business, but also just that's just struck a chord with me there. Like just being able to do that is so important for our overall well-being, you know, your health in general, and your, like I said, your sense of self and your connection and the way that you show up in the world, you know, it's so relevant. And this is what's like one of the things that really drives me forwards as well, is it's looking at women like you and looking at the journey that you've come on and the future that you've got ahead of you. Like I can tell, again, I'm getting the goosebumps again, but also, you know, it's about like sharing this stuff with people, because why on earth don't people know this? And also it's like breaking down those barriers, so having these kind of open conversations, about meditation, but also about, you know, fertility, pregnancy, being a mom, losing a baby, all those things you just spoke about, you know, like leaders go first, leaders open up these conversations, and that's 100% what you are. That's how you're showing up for me right now. So I'm just thinking, like, just to celebrate yourself for that.
That's really nice feedback. I didn't really see it like that, to be honest, but it's really given me a bit of a confidence boost.
Yeah, you should. I think just, you know, one of the biggest things for us at Exhale, and that's something that you can take forwards with you, and what you are taking forwards with you into both these roles as a meditation instructor, but also supporting these women and families when they go on their own fertility journey. But it's walking alongside somebody, you know, it's just that in itself, just knowing that somebody is holding space for you in that way, and that's got your back, and it's holding that vision for you when you can't hold it for yourself. Like, what, it's just beautiful, that relationship that you will see. You're about to finish your Exhale training, aren't you, and get certified, but you know that you'll see in both your businesses moving forwards. It's so powerful and just beautiful, really. So I'm really proud of you. So just talk to us a little bit more about how you how meditation then. So we were just touching on it there, but how could meditation help? If there's anybody watching that's like, you know what, I want to improve my well-being, or you know what, I really want a baby. I really want to move forward on that journey. I want to do everything that's possible to prep for me to plan to have a baby, say. How could they use meditation to help with that journey?
Well, some of the things they're probably looking at if they want to conceive are their diet. They're probably tracking their ovulation. We go through, one of the things that the Freedom Fertility Formula touches upon is the cycle of despair. So it's when the cycle of despair follows a typical menstrual cycle. So on day 1, you get your period and you're suffering despair. That's the emotion you're going through, because you've been trying so hard to get pregnant. You've cut out the caffeine. You've done all the things that you're told or you've researched you should be doing, but you're not pregnant. So then you go through the next couple of weeks upset about that, worrying about that, in that state of despair. So then you get to about day 14, and then it's like, okay, I'm ovulating, so now it's time to try and get pregnant. So then you go through all the process of trying, you know, you get your sexy underwear out, you know, you schedule time, you do your ovulation tests, and you try to get pregnant. And then you kind of get another week or so on, and then you're in the hope stage. So in the hope stage, you're kind of like, I've really tried to get pregnant. I've done all the things I should be doing. So then you start to think about the possibility that you could be pregnant. So in that time, you're thinking positive pregnancy test, how I'm going to announce it to the people that are closest to me, what their reactions are going to be, my first scan, you know, getting my all the things for the baby. And then you get to a few days before your period, and then it's kind of you're suffering fear, because you get the symptoms, and you get symptoms that you probably had before but you never really recognized, because actually early pregnancy symptoms and period symptoms are quite similar. So maybe you smell something, you've got a heightened sense of smell, but you've only just realized it, and maybe you're feeling sick, you're going off certain foods. So then you start to Google, am I pregnant? But then actually you find that early pregnancy symptoms are like period symptoms. So then you spend probably a good week torturing yourself, am I pregnant or not? And you're just waiting to find out whether or not you are. And then you come on your period, you realize you're not pregnant, and that cycle happens all over again. And imagine some women are going through that for years, every single month for years. And in fact, the founder of the Freedom Fertility Formula, Danny Griffith, she's absolutely fantastic. And she supported her best friend through a 10-year fertility journey who was going through that cycle every month. And that's kind of how she started to develop it. And so, but no one touches upon that. And with meditation, obviously, what meditation's doing, like I said, it's giving you that safe space to help navigate through those emotions. It's giving you that space to get a sense of clarity. You know, when you've got your mind so clouded with all of those different emotions and you are literally going like that, you're suddenly starting to find a bit of inner peace, and you're just getting a break away from all of that noise. And so in terms of complementing the Freedom Fertility Formula, Exhale is brilliant for that, because, you know, it's not necessarily about having those sessions with me to get pregnant. It's about navigating your way through those emotional blockers so that you're enhancing your fertility. But that might mean that you're giving yourself that clarity through the meditation to really understand what is going on and to help just manage that, because actually we all have emotions. It's normal. We all have all of these millions of thoughts going through our subconscious. That's just how we're made up. But it's learning through the meditation that that's okay, and that actually, if I can get through that and I can teach myself to accept these things and flow with those emotions, I can actually enhance my fertility, but also enhance myself as well. So you're giving yourself almost like a two-pronged attack with yourself and helping yourself, but also helping your fertility. So with the meditation, it's something that will fit so well with the sessions that I can offer clients. And it's something that I want to be tailored as well. So where we've got the Freedom Fertility Formula sessions and we've got the Exhale, obviously they're two things in their own right. So what will be great is that they can just complement each other. And when I talk to clients in that initial consultation, I'll talk to them about what they're going through, what's going on with their fertility journey, how they're feeling. And then from there, we can kind of structure the sessions and then fit in the Exhale as separate meditation sessions as well to complement the Freedom Fertility Formula.
And I think just moving forwards, when, you know, hopefully their journey will result in a pregnancy, it'd be so supportive throughout the pregnancy period, and just thinking about how you can set yourself up as a mom, as a new mom. So antenatally, but also in that sort of fourth trimester period when you are really trying to get to grips with having a brand new teeny weeny baby and your emotions are all over the place, and there's probably a mixture of, particularly if you've gone through, you know, it's took you a long time to get pregnant, you know, that must be so overwhelming. So I think the fact that you're able to then have somebody set up with these are the tools that you can use. And what's amazing about Exhale, I guess, as well, is that it's little, you don't need an app, you don't need YouTube, you don't need your instructor there. Obviously, like, your instructor is going to support you, troubleshoot with you, hold space for you when you need it, and give you the accountability to keep on getting on the mat. But really, once we've given you those tools, you're able to go off and explore on your own, and is a life skill.
Oh my gosh. And the exploration is amazing. You know, like I said, when I first started Exhale, I was by no means, and I'm still not necessarily a master at meditation. I'm learning it, but I'm learning it to a level where I can teach people. But I'm just a normal person. I'm still learning to cope with my own emotions. I understand them a lot more now, and I understand what I can do to help that a lot more than I did before I found Exhale and the Freedom Fertility Formula. But also, I still have things that are going to come up in my life. So I'm still navigating my way through. So I think that's the brilliant thing about, you know, I'm seeing myself as a coach, because even though they're the specialities is fertility and meditation, it's the Freedom Fertility Formula itself is a unique blend of counselling and coaching, and Exhale is a form of coaching and teaching. So, you know, between all of them, they're a fantastic support. And once you have got those tools, you can definitely learn to enhance them. I did a meditation the other day, and I think I told you about it.
You tell me, tell everyone.
And it was literally only 15 minutes, but I put on the sounds of waves. So I love the beach. of all things natural, the beach is probably my most favourite place in the world to be. I love the sound of the waves. I love the look, and I love the sea breeze. I love the look of the waves. I love them crashing. There's nothing I don't like. The feel of the sand. It's just so, I don't know, it's just peaceful. And it feels like, when you sort of look out at the sea, it just feels like freedom almost. It's just such a nice feeling. But I sat down and I did a meditation with sounds of the ocean, and closed my eyes, and I sat up, and I felt like I was on the beach. I obviously at the time it was just like, I'm on the beach, and I was sat in front of the water, close enough to it that the waves were coming up to me, but far enough away that the waves weren't quite touching me when they were coming in.
Yeah.
And I did this for 15 minutes, and I woke up and I was in my bedroom, and I literally felt like I had just been transported back to my bedroom. I was just like, how has this happened? I felt like I was literally just at the beach. And I slept so well that night. I got a really good night's sleep. And I felt amazing the next day. I got through so much. I was so productive. And that's just a small example. If you're thinking of someone that's going through a fertility journey, what that can do to a person, the amount of productivity, clarity, creativity it gives you is just amazing.
And I think people don't really associate meditation with those kind of things. So a lot of people say, oh, I haven't got time to relax. I'm like, yeah, it will relax you, it'll de-stress you, but that's just the tip. That's the tip of the iceberg. You're going to get melatonin so that you sleep. Without melatonin, sleep is broken or non-existent at all. We need the melatonin to come out. We can do that for you. We can give you endorphins, just the same as if you've been for a run. It's the same thing. So we can give you oxytocin, which is that beautiful feeling of love and connection. There's so many things. And as you say, like, it enhances your productivity, it enhances your performance. And when we look at anyone doing any amazing thing in the world, like athletes and celebrities, I would say politicians, but there's not many of them doing anything great at the moment. But like people that are successful people are meditating, and I think that's why I love these kind of conversations, because it really does open people's eyes to the opportunity. Learn this skill is going to open all of these doors for you. So the girls were saying, so Chloe was saying that the sea is her happy place as well, and so did Emma. She said she loves the beach and the sea too, and I do as well, actually. And I really connected with what you said about the freedom of it. It's vast, it's expansive. It just reminds you of all of the possibility and the journey that we can go on through life. Like, there's no limits. So I love that about it. So quickly before we go, so I'm on a very probably restricted amount of time because of the child downstairs, but talk to us about then your future plans. So anything that we need to know. So if anybody, how do we work with you? Where can we get hold of you? And what's coming up for you? And anything else that you did want to talk about?
Well, only that I'm really excited. I'm quite quiet on social media at the moment, I have to say, but that's because I'm plugging away in the background. So everything that I'm doing alongside my pretty much full-time employment, alongside being a wife and being a mum. So I'm sort of navigating it all through that. But how you can contact me, the best way to contact me is to go onto my Instagram page, which is Jessica Bella Templeton, all one word, as you can see here. Yeah. And you can send me a private message. You can also contact me at hello@jessicavt.com as well. And from there, sorry?
You pop that in the comments.
Oh, yeah. Should I do that now? Hang on.
Oh, if you can. I mean, you're able to be that technological.
Oh, that's great. But then, yeah, contact me.
Jess.
Oh, hang on, I'm doing it wrong. That's me trying to multitask. jessicavt.com.
Okay.
There we go. Oh, that's my email address.
I'll pop that on. You carry on talking and I'll do that for you.
From there, we can have a consultation. We can have a chat about, your fertility journey, what you're going through. And obviously, I am very nearly finished my exhale assessments, and I'll be getting those through for you to have a look at. But what's coming up? So what's coming up is that I'll be offering the Freedom Fertility Formula. I'll be offering the exhale sessions. I'm working on a timetable as well of when I'll be offering the actual sessions. So it's not just for fertility. You know, obviously everyone can come along and they can join into the online sessions that I'll be doing. Once lockdown has finished, obviously I live in Cornwall and I've got the beaches right there.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to setting up some events that we can do on the beach. Do you know, I was at the beach the other day and I've been having quite a stressful day and I was like, I'm just going to go fully clothed and I'm just going to run and I'm just going to splash about in the sea. And I did, and I felt so free. And I thought, imagine an event where you do some exhale meditation and then we literally just have that freeing moment of just running into the water. So I want to do something. I want to do some things at the beach. So I've got lots of things that I'm kind of plugging away at. So all I can advise people really is to keep on the lookout on Instagram, because I will be coming back and advertising everything I'm doing within the next couple of weeks. And yeah, contact me if you'd like a sort of further chat, and we can have a chat about how I can help you in the meantime. And I'm just really excited.
Me too. I'm really excited for you. So Emma says this has been really interesting to listen to, and I agree. I actually think I will be sending this out on the replay to my email list, and I'm going to add something into the title because I do think you've covered so much gold there. You've been so open and it's just so beautifully connected to what you do. I just think I want everyone to listen to it. It doesn't matter if you're not wanting to get pregnant, So I'm just going to go back through the comments. So Emma was saying earlier about how PSHE, let's see if it'll come up, is part of the curriculum, but having been a teacher, it's the first to get pushed aside because of the constraints on time and a focus on maths and English. So that's so true, isn't it? Like I've been a teacher as well, and I absolutely understand there's so many things that you want to do and want to teach and want to share with your students, but there's so much bureaucracy, there's so many time deadlines and schedules and paperwork and to-do lists of things. Unfortunately, it does get pushed to one side, but that's what's so amazing about Exhale is that we can come into schools. We're doing after school clubs, we're doing online classes as well to support parents to be able to give their children what the teachers aren't able to do at the moment. They try, but there's just so much going on, isn't there?
I've got no doubt that they try. I know it's just the constraints, but I think that's for the government, isn't it? That's for the higher powers to actually really have a look at what's being taught to children. Because there's so many useless things you're taught at school. And I know
that before, like Joey was on a Zoom call, and one of the questions was like, what do you call a word? I can't remember the answer. I don't know the answer, and he said it. But it was something like, what do you call a word that joins two phrases together? And I was like, why would I need to know what the name of that thing is? It's just and or because. I don't need to know what that type of word is called. I mean, obviously, it must help them in their learning, but I was like, what? Like, it's funny, isn't it, the amount of time you spend on things that you will never use again.
They're just setting you up to pass an exam. That's it. But once you've done that exam, like everything that you learned for it just goes.
And I'm sure the teachers are like, oh, do I have to teach them this? Unless it's probably valuable in some way. I don't know enough about it. But Chloe said, you're right. It's definitely not taught enough in schools. My son went to nurture group for his anxiety, and they did do it within that, but he had to need extra support in order to access it. And then, as we were saying before, there's people like us, even from a young age, that kind of deny their own needs, that sort of, I remember not even wanting to put my hand up to ask to go to the toilet. That's how much I denied my my place in the world. It was almost like I was making excuses for being alive. When you think about it, it's the way we minimize ourselves, the way that we disown ourselves. It just happens so young. So that's what Chloe was saying. Absolutely agree. And then Emma says, it's cutting off our faces now, but I wanted to mention it because she took the time to write it. She put, my 7-year-old's timetable is green to have to do. So maths and I get you. So green, have to do, maths and English. Yellow, we try to do, and that's topic work. Red, don't have to do, and guess what? It's all the mental well-being, the mindfulness activities, and the social learning. It's taught, it's just not important. It's not seen as important, I'm guessing, is what she's saying.
It says it all, really, doesn't it? Because it's such a huge bee I have in my bonnet, because, you know, we all will have some kind of emotional difficulty at some point in our lives. And I just, for the life of me, I don't understand why we're not taught all this stuff. But then that's the brilliant thing about Exhale, because obviously you do go into schools as well, and it's so important to have that. And I think now, especially after the lockdown, and I mean, you know, COVID-19 has sent us into a whole new world, hasn't it? And I think people are really starting to acknowledge the need to manage their mental health. And parents are starting to understand the need for their children as well, because of everything that they've been through as well.
Themselves, you know, like that's something that I've really noticed, that people are much more, people might have struggled through the first lockdown, sort of like the second one was kind of like, we didn't really feel like a proper lockdown, because I don't think it was like a full lockdown across the country, even though most of us were told to stay inside. But now this one, I think it's really hitting home that actually it's giving us chance to go within. It's giving us a chance to look at ourselves. It's giving us like lots of time to notice the little things that we do that are maybe showing the cracks in the surface, and to put a positive spin on it, I guess it has given us the opportunity to really look at ourselves and the way that we seek acceptance outside of the home and the roles that we play. And then when we're trapped in here and it's just us, we're like, actually, does that role even belong to me? Does that persona, that person that I'm putting out there, even actually exist? So it's actually in a positive sort of light, it's given us time to kind of go, just check in with that. Like, is what's going on in here and in here what I'm actually projecting, I suppose, because we're not having those interactions with people that kind of normally give us the validation and the acceptance that we're all sort of seeking. So, oh gosh, I could talk about it for a very long time.
Well, every time we talk about this, though, we literally feel like we could go on forever, don't we?
I know. That's why I knew you'd be so good. Like, all the instructors are amazing when they come on here as well, but I knew that me and you in particular would just be like everything, because like I said to you right at the start, you know, I look at you and things that you've shared on here and think, oh my gosh, that was me. You know, and it's still me to a certain extent. So that's something that I really want to get across to people as well, whilst we're talking about this, is it's an unfolding journey, and it's like an onion. So we peel off one layer, one persona, one little bit that was disconnecting me from myself, and then there's another one underneath, and then you think you've cracked it, and then there's another one, and it's just surrendering to that process and surrendering to the humanness. That we have.
That's the thing I love about Exhale, because it's so in touch with that, and that's why it's such a relatable brand. The ethos of it is just fantastic for everyone, men and women, because men have their own struggles as well. So I think that I can't tell you how much it's really helped me, and it helps you to understand, like I said, it helps you to understand those emotions and accept that they are okay, and then we can learn to navigate our way through them. And obviously any Exhale meditation instructor is going to be able to help all of their clients through that. So it's really fantastic, and I really do love it, and I'm so excited.
I'm so excited. You can tell, like, I'm just like a crazy lady. And I did my session before, I was like talking, and I was like, and then this, and then this, and then this, and I could see, I had to pull myself back and go, okay, not everyone is as excited about what you're talking about as you. Well, that's what I love about this, and the opportunity that we give women like yourself to do a job which they are obsessed with. And I think both your businesses, it's really clear that you're passionate about what you do and you love it.
I spend so much time. I need to learn to act, because we're all learning, and probably one of my weaknesses is that I will spend so much time on this. But I will go to bed really late, because I'm quite happy to stay up and read and do my assessments. And my husband's kind of like, Jess, are you coming to bed? And I'm like, yeah, 5 minutes. And like an hour later, I'm still downstairs. But it is, and it's nice to find something. It's very rare that you can actually find something you can make a career from that you actually enjoy. And with this, you really, really can. So I think that everyone should give it a go that really feels a connection to this sort of work.
Yeah, come and join us, come and sit with us, come and train with us, come and work with Jessica if that you feel called to do so, if you're on a fertility or pregnancy planning journey, or if you just want to feel better about yourself and start thinking about the future as a woman. So, right, we're going to let everyone go. We've been on 45 minutes, which is amazing. If we've gone too much longer, I can't upload it. It takes too long.
Okay.
So we'll cut it off there, but I would talk for longer. So we'll get you back on, Jess. We'll have a chat in next month or so. But thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I've loved it. Thank you.
Welcome. And we'll see everybody. Do we have to say anything before we go? I'll be on again next week. I can't even remember who I'm talking to next week, but I'll be talking to another Excel instructor. Anybody has any questions about our training programs, about learning to teach this stuff, or about coming to an Excel session, please do drop me a comment and I will, or send me a DM, or equally to Jess, and we will reply to you and get you the information you need. But thank you so much for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you, guys.